So hi to everyone, welcome back to another video episode, production and cost chapter, and moreoverly this is the third chapter under microeconomics of your NCERT PU syllabus is concerned. So today we'll discuss about production and cost chapter, and there are the different two combination of issues are there. One is called production, next one is called cost. Okay. Now before getting into the chapter into the detail, so let's have a discussion about the marks weightage of this chapter. So the entire weightage of this chapter is about 15 marks for classified under two heads like 1 mark 1 and 2 marks 2, and followed by 4 marks and 6 marks respectively. So complete 15 marks weightage is there of this chapter. So before getting to the chapter side, like what the production and what the cost is, so you need to understand why you need to study about this chapter. Okay. So production and the cost, these are not only the syllabus part of your PU level is concerned, it's your part of your life, because every commerce student have a 3 segments of life career. So one is about to have a qualification and to go for job. Next one to have a skilled knowledge and go for the profession, or else the third option to go for a business side. And those have an intention of starting up of any of the firm or a business or any of the factory company and all. So you people must understand this chapter, production and cost, because the last chapter in the last videos what you people have tried to understand, that is about behavior of a consumer, and this chapter is all about behavior of a producer, the producer of a firm or a factory or a company. Okay, so or any of a business activity, it's all about a behavior of a producer, how a producer has to think, how a producer need to acquire the different sources, how a producer need to acquire the different the factor inputs like land, labor, capital, organization, material, technology, many factors which are concerned with any of the particular business firm, and they have to go with only one agenda. Every producer have only one agenda in their mind, that is called least cost factor combination. Least cost factor combination. What does it mean? Least cost factor combination stands here. So every producer before starting up of the business or after, they have only one intention in their mind, that is about whatever the factors they can acquire, the cost should be less, the output should be more. So whatever the expenses are there, whatever the overheads are there in connection with the any of the factor, and the cost should be least one, and the output should be maximum. And this is behind the agenda of every producer to run up for any of a business activity. That is about the least cost factor combination. So before getting to this chapter, so you need to understand the basic terminologies of this chapter. So without understanding the basic terminologies, that will be the waste of time and energy of understanding the issues. Okay, let's back to the topic now of understanding a word for first production and other terminologies of this chapter. So different terminologies are there of this chapter. So first you need to understand what the production is. Okay, let's talk about the production and followed by the number of other terminologies. So whenever you people heard about the word called production, a number of business will come in your mind. Okay, either manufacturing business or assembling or processing or synthetic, a number of so production units will come into your mind. And only the thing, we are not about the classification of manufacturing units. Here we are, let's talk about the production. Okay, production, it's the process of converting raw materials or semi-finished goods into finished goods. So production refers to the process. It refers to a process of converting raw materials and semi-finished goods. Semi-finished, we can call it as or. Okay, semi-finished goods into finished goods. Then this is the process is called production. So it refers to a process of converting the raw materials or semi-finished goods into finished goods. Some goods require raw materials to be converted into semi-finished goods. Some business units require semi-finished goods into finished goods. Let's take an example of electric fans. So electric fan is a combination of their wings, then winding, then paint, then pipe, then cups, many things are there, which are produced by different producers. And that will be the final goods for them, and it becomes semi-finished goods for the final assembling industries. And where the assembling industry going to assemble all this, then they turned as a finished goods. Likewise, it's a process of converting raw materials or semi-finished goods into finished goods. And one thing you need to understand here, what is this process? Okay, you cannot digest any of the meaning as it is. You cannot mug up the things. So as a PU student is concerned, or any of your life is concerned, you need to understand in detail, because it's not just part of your PU life, it is your part of your life. You need to understand in detail. It's a process. When you heard about the process, it is not one-shot activity. It is a continuous process. So just merely conversion of raw materials or semi-finished goods into finished goods, that is not an activity. It's not one-shot activity. It's a continuous process. Why it is a continuous process? Because human wants are unlimited. Okay. So you take a revolution in the TVs, televisions, a revolution in the fan, okay, a revolution in the mobiles, revolution in the footwears. Because of the unlimited ones, where producer think twice, thrice, number of times, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, to change a product, to convert the raw materials into finished goods or semi-finished goods into finished goods, where the consumer requires. For that, it's all about the behavior of producer, how he thinks, how he acquires the different factors and convert them into the finished goods. That's all about production. Then that is actually the meaning of what the process stands for. So process is a continuous one, which is concerned with the conversion of raw materials or semi-finished goods into finished goods. Let's have a discussion with the next terminology, then that is called production function. And you need to understand how this production works, how this production functionalizes its activity. As you heard about now, so production is a continuous process. You need to define how this production works. Okay, for that you need to go by the particular definition, which is given by the different thinkers of this field. So there are a number of other definitions are there. So in that the finest one, so you have a discussion now. Production function. So according to Professor Watson, he defines what the production function stands for. So production function, it is a functional relationship between, it's a functional relationship between physical inputs and physical outputs of a firm. That is the definition. So here in the definition, according to the Watson and the thinker of this field, he defines what the production function is. Production function, it's a functional relationship between the physical inputs and physical outputs of a firm. And you need to understand, not simply by mugging the thing, you need to understand why he has defined it this way. So first one is about functional relationship. What kind of a functional? Is it positive functional or negative functional? Positively related or inversely related? That's the functional relationship where you need to understand between physical inputs and physical outputs. The word here physical stands, which can be countable, which can be measurable. Okay, he didn't explain as a biological difference. Okay, emotional inputs and emotional outputs he has highlighted as physical. Physical means which can be countable, measurable, expressible. Okay, the numerical values, how we can measure, like land, how much square feet. Okay, so particular labor, how many labors are there? Number counted, 20 labors, 50 labors, 100 labors. So like capital, how much amount you have taken, how much machineries have been taken. Okay, the organization, how much the profit you have given. So everything which can be possible to measure and express, then that is called physical. The quantities we can call it. So it's a functional relationship between the physical inputs and physical outputs of a firm. Then it is called production function. Okay. So if this is a production function, you need to understand what kind of a relationship it is. Is it positive or negative? For that, you need to go by production equation. So to understand this function, you need to understand the production equation. So production function, when it is termed as a functional relation, so it can be expressed as y, capital Y, x1, x2, n number of factors. And these are the factors called inputs, like land, labor, capital, organization, technology, material, n number of factors which are required to run a firm. Then this is what called as physical inputs. And these physical inputs can be possible to measure in physical numbers. Like for example, land is a basic element of production. So where you should be measured like this much or this much of land. Then you have istu land beku, astu land beku, istu beku land anta. Then you have to measure in acres or number of square feet and something. Okay. Then that is called where you can measure in physical inputs. And the physical output means the quantity of output, how much you produce at the end of the day. When all the production process has been completed from conversion of raw materials or semi-finished goods into finished goods, and you need to put how much you have produced. So number of quantity of output, how much you have been produced, that should be mentioned. And this is the first equation which is guaranteed for 1 or 2 marks. Y stands the quantity output, x1, x2 and many more factors which are required. And we can even show us another equation of this production, then that is called y equals to f of r, l, k, o, many factors. So what does this stands for? R stands for land, technically termed as land. So land stands for how much we pay rent for it, then that is called R here. And L stands for labor in terms of how much the wages we pay. K stands for technical term as capital, okay. And O stands for organization. There are the n number of factors are there. Important factors are these four: land, labor, capital, organization. From these, how best we are making rules to increase the output is correct. Then here the functional relationship stands positive. The more the inputs, more the output. Lesser the input, lesser the output. If you want to increase the output, you have to increase the input. More the land, more the labor, more the capital, then firm become a big broader one. Then the firm become a business, and business become an entity, and an entity become the large scale business. So where the production will increase as increase in the output. So if input increases, if inputs are increases, then output also increases. The more you put in the business, the more output you can get from the business. Then there is the existence of positive relation between the physical inputs and physical outputs. Then this is called positive relationship between the physical inputs and physical outputs of a firm. And this is the formula guaranteed for 2 marks. So he may ask, bring down the production equation. The production equation, either you can write this one as y equals to f of x1, x2, x3, likewise the number of the factors which are required to increase the output, or else the most important factors are L, K, O. That is y equals to y stands output equals to f of R, L, K, O and many other factors. Okay, even the government will come into the picture. Okay, government rules, regulations, policies, standard of living, income, criteria, everything will come, including weather condition. But important are these 4 are there. So let's enter to the another terminology of our today's discussion, that is about factors of production. Factors of production. So factors stands here the inputs. Okay, and these inputs which are required to run an output, then that is called factors of production. So factors of production you all already heard much time in last year. Okay, the factors of production like land, labor, capital, and organization. The most important. And these factors are classified under two heads. First one is called fixed factor. Second one is called variable factor. So the factor which is fixed in the production process without any much change, then that is called fixed factor. For example, how many factors of production are there important? 4 are there. Land, labor, capital, and organization. But among that, the factor which is fixed in the production process, where it is not possible to change again and again, then that the factor is called fixed factor. Example of fixed factor, that is land. Okay. The factor which can vary, the factor which can be possible to alter, change, sometimes increase, sometimes you can decrease the factor in the production process, then that is called variable factors. And variable factors where we call it as labor. Sometimes you may increase the labor, sometimes you may decrease the labor. And next one is about capital and organization. So depending upon your capacity of your business is concerned, if it is possible to alter the factors, then those factors are called as variable factors. The factor which can be made as a fixed in the production process, then the factor is called fixed factor, then that is called land. At the same time, you must understand these factors how a producer needs to acquire by paying the factor cost for it. Factor cost refers to from land. In order to acquire the land, then you have to pay the expenses connected with the land, then that is called rent or we can call. Okay. To acquire the labor, capital and organization, you have to pay the cost of it, where we will discuss much about when we enter to the cost topic. Okay. So labor stands here the wages, the salaries, the remuneration, what we pay. We stands not consumer here, we stands here producer now. Till the complete of this chapter, you have to assume yourself as we are the producers. Capital. Okay, so capital, it doesn't mean that only money. Capital refers to even the capital equipments like machineries, equipments or furnitures, and including money, the loan what will take. Then that's all thing which deals with an interest. And organization, where you have to prove is it belongs to you or someone by showing the end result, then that is called a profit. And these four are called as a factor cost. So rent, wages, interest and the profit. Okay. So I hope you people got understood this one, and by the next topic we'll enter to the some other terminologies. Thank you.